Lauren was born on December 19, 1969 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a small town girl with a big imagination and even bigger dreams. But growing up wasn't always easy. Lauren Wendy Sanchez was diagnosed with dyslexia, a challenge that made traditional learning feel like a battlefield. Yet, instead of letting it hold her back, she turned it into her first superpower.
Do you know how much Jeff Bezos will spend to marry Lauren Sánchez? As early as when they got engaged in 2023, Jeff presented a dazzling 30-carat diamond ring worth about $25 million, showing off great luxury.
Everybody is talking about Lauren. She came from a middle class family. She wasn't rich and she worked her way up to the top. Most criticize her look. Society in general has placed limitation on what women can and cannot have. Jeff really likes about her because it's about the feeling. It's not about being younger, but it's about how she makes him feel. She's bubbly. You know, you can have a younger woman and she's always like upset or in a toxic mood, bad mood. Therefore, it doesn't matter. It's the young feeling of wanting to do things or wanting to explore, but it has to be genuine. So what happened with Lauren is she's in a high state. I can see that. Society has told women 50 you're expired, you hit the wall, you're not good enough. And so unfortunately some people hold on to that belief to their dear life. What you think and what you believe within like the subconscious mind will make it reality. I don't know if you guys watched the Matrix, the movie. When you die in the Matrix, you die in the real life as well, because the body cannot survive without the mind. You are not expired, but your mind will make you expire. They want us not to know her worth, because imagine if a woman knows her worth, what will happen? She will start to live free. She will start to live like she's limitless, like she's a leader. And that's a threat for weak men in their false masculinity, because she's the representation of that limiting belief. Hi guys, Vivi here, aka the Modern Barbie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm outdoorsy. You know, I went for a walk, my usual cardio, and I know you ladies like when I film outdoor. So here I am. Hope you enjoy the weather with me. Alright, so let's talk about Lauren Sánchez and Jeff Bezos, because as you all know, ladies, I know you keep up with these things, but they just got married in Venice, Italy, my country, by the way. And it's amazing. I'm so happy for her. Like literally I was cheering for her. Like I really like her. I like her energy, and I'm here to talk to you about her because there is a reason why. What's so special about her? Everybody is talking about Lauren. Like most criticize her and criticize her look, so on and so forth, and I don't like that. Honestly, I believe it's pretty disgusting to see, especially other women putting down another woman's appearance, physical appearance, especially as women in a society where we always judge by our appearance. When I hear a woman judging another woman because of her appearance and not because of who she is, it really makes me sad and it makes me angry, to be quite honest. Lauren has an extensive career and a number of achievements. She's successful and she is a little older. Now, some people can argue that, you know, with all this money she could have a better plastic surgeon, but you know what? At the end of the day, we are human beings. She came from a middle class family. She wasn't rich and she worked her way up to the top. She was able to insert herself in a certain circle that made her stand out. Like her energy made her stand out. You know what? When I think about her and when I watch her, even through social media, I can feel the energy, the positive vibes. I love her energy, and that's what I want to talk to you about, ladies, because a lot of you want to be with an affluent man, you want to marry up, but at the end of the day, there are two different categories of men. There are the ones that are the divine masculine men. They have, you know, a status, but they are driven by purpose, and then there are the ones that are in their false masculinity. So false masculinity, true masculinity. True masculinity is driven by purpose, not by ego. It's driven by leadership. Okay, it's not bringing a woman down, It's not making her like, manipulating her or financially abuse her, because yes, there are a lot of those who are in power that financially, physically, and mentally even abuse their partner. So that's why I want to make another video where I talk about this, but I'm trying to stay on topic. So yeah, so on the other side is the false masculinity. False masculinity is a man driven by ego, by monetary achievement, or just I would say materialistic things. He has some, narcissistic traits, obviously, and he is in his toxic masculinity. He doesn't communicate. He thinks that vulnerability is, vulnerability as a talking about things in a open way is weakness, which is actually the opposite, because when you are not able to articulate your emotions, that to me is weakness. You need therapy. You need to get to know yourself better, because why do you think that somebody will judge you for just expressing your emotions? That's not a confident man. You see what I mean? So it's a balance, because like a divine masculine, a man who is in his true masculinity, he's able to express his emotion with confidence. He knows that he has to communicate with the partner in order to make the relationship work, and he also is confident in himself enough to know that expressing himself, it doesn't mean that he's a weak man. Expressing his emotions doesn't equal to being weak. So anyways, let's go back to Lauren, because we wanted to talk about the situation with her. I really, really, really love this for her. I really do. And I think, I don't know her personally, but I just think it's a great example. She's redefining what's possible for women, breaking every societal standard that once told us our value at an expiration date. Lauren Sánchez is living proof that limits placed on women are nothing more than outdated programming rooted in decades of patriarchal conditioning. She's not just breaking the mold, she's rewriting the entire narrative. For everyone to see, hi, doggy just gave me. It's a great example for every woman to see that it's not about the way you look. It's about how you carry yourself. So at any age, you can be whomever you want to be. You can push yourself to be better, and you are not expired. You are not losing value. Now with this world situation, loneliness, a male loneliness epidemic, whatever, which by the way is just a consequence of the way men are behaving nowadays. They come with a bag of tricks and whatnot. But anyways, women are finally discovering who they are, and they're just being free. They're setting themselves free and just do whatever they please to be. Look at Lauren, for example. She moved from her town. She went, I think she moved to LA. She became a reporter, very successful in her job. She was one of the first reporters. Don't quote me on this, but I'm gonna attach a segment, because I read her bio prior to do this video, but I'm gonna attach a segment so you know more. So Lauren was born on December 19, 1969 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a small town girl with a big imagination and even bigger dreams. But growing up wasn't always easy. Lauren Wendy Sanchez was diagnosed with dyslexia, a challenge that made traditional learning feel like a battlefield. Yet, instead of letting it hold her back, she turned it into her first superpower. Learning to think outside the box, read between the lines, and chase life on her own terms. After high school, Lauren moved to Los Angeles to study communications at EI Camino College, later earning a scholarship to the University of Southern California, where she studied journalism. There, her gift for storytelling began to take flight. She started at the bottom, a desk assistant at KCOP TV in LA, running scripts, making coffee, and watching closely. But ambition doesn't stay quiet for long. Lauren quickly rose through the ranks, reporting for Extra, entering at Fox Sports Net, earning an Emmy Award in 1999 for her work on UPN News 13. She became a familiar face in households across America, hosting Good Day LA, and even becoming the original host of So You Think You Can Dance. But Lauren wasn't done evolving. In her 40s, while most people settle, she reinvented herself, earning her helicopter pilot license and founding Black Ops Aviation, the first female-owned aerial firm company in the US.
It's kind of interesting being on this side of the questions
I
instead
can
of the one
imagine.
asking the questions.
Well, it's more pressure for me, you do realise that, right?
No, it's actually more pressure for me.
Now our own Lauren Sánchez is soaring to new heights as a helicopter pilot.
When I first became a reporter, I did it because there was no one else I thought that looked like me.
She didn't just film from the sky, she owned it. Her company will go on to work with Amazon, Netflix, and more. But her most public spotlight came when her relationship with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos made headlines in 2019. Instead of shrinking under the pressure, she rose higher, continuing her own path as an author, activist, and philanthropist. In 2024, she published a best-selling children's book, The Fly Who Flew to Space, inspired by her own dyslexia and journey. Then, in April 2025, she boarded Blue Origin's NS-31 mission, becoming part of the first all-female space flight crew. That same year, in June 2025, she married Jeff Bezos in a lavish 3-day ceremony in Venice, surrounded by icons, legends, and world changers. But Lauren Sánchez Bezos is more than a last name. She's a trailblazer, a mother of 3, a storyteller, a pilot, and a woman who turned every setback into a stepping stone. Her life proves that you do not need to follow the rules to leave a legacy. You just need the courage to rewrite your own. She was able to accomplish something for herself. She keeps evolving, she keeps challenging herself, she keeps learning. Then she became a pilot. She learned how to drive helicopters or small planes, and that's what a man like Jeff admired, and her just contagious vibe. That's what it is, ladies. The contagious vibe, it's what really made the difference. And well, I see and I hear like women thinking the looks are enough. Yeah, maybe are enough for someone who is superficial. A man that lacks values. Definitely looks are important, and I personally believe that Lauren is beautiful. She has a great body. A lot of women that are 50 something, you know, I see them criticizing her and stuff like that, and I think it comes from jealousy because of who she's with, and because, you know, society in general has placed limitation on what women can and cannot have in general, meaning society has told women 50, you know, you're expired, you hit the wall, you're not good enough. And so unfortunately some people hold on to that belief to their dear life. Okay, sometimes you are not expired, but your mind will make you expire. And let me clarify this point, because you might not be expired, but what you think and what you believe within, like, the subconscious mind will make it reality. I don't know if you guys watch the Matrix, the movie. When you die in the Matrix, you die in the real life as well, because the body cannot survive without the mind. Therefore, you see what I'm saying? When you think you're aspiring, that you're not good enough, like, this is a world society patriarchal programming, and you guys, some women, they just cannot accept that someone else was able to break that rule or belief, and when they see it, they attack her because she's the representation of that limiting belief. So yeah, limiting beliefs are extremely dangerous, and I see that through the lens of some women that they wish they were more confident at her age, because let's be honest, not a lot of 50-something-year-old have that body because they choose not to take care of themselves because of the programming. Okay, not because they can't, because anybody here watching, anybody in the world can achieve whatever they put their mind into. Okay, where your focus goes, energy flows, period. Yes. So she has a very abundant mindset. Therefore, she has no limitation. She has no limiting belief. She didn't let her past define her future or present, you know. And I like how she smiles. She smiles, and that's what, you know, Jeff really likes about her, because it's about the feeling. It's not about being younger, but it's about how she makes him feel. She's bubbly, you know. It's like, you know, you can have a younger woman and she's always like upset or in a toxic mood, bad mood. Therefore, it doesn't matter. It's the young feeling of wanting to do things or wanting to explore, but it has to be genuine. So what happened with Lauren is she's in a high state. I can see that. I mean, people, look, listen guys, energy cannot lie. I can see it through the screen, and I'm very good at energy reading. I actually, you know, not only I'm neurodivergent, but I can see auras, I can see energy, I can feel energy very, very intensely. So with her, I'm sure you guys type in the comment if you also felt the same way about her, but I just feel like she has she's the type of woman that is not desperate for that type of man. She doesn't care therefore about the billionaire status, but it's more of she cannot help it but attract that because of the way she shines and the way she is. When you have that high vibration light, that almost like everything, you have the world at your feet, okay, period. Also, another thing that I wanted to say, because Jeff is a businessman, and of course is a very, very successful businessman, he likes the challenge, and challenge is what he saw in her. Because most women will just be like, oh my god, I'm with Jeff, blah blah, even in the circle, right? But what happened with her, I believe that when they met, they were both married, and he saw her as a conquest because she wasn't his, okay? She wasn't his. So therefore, that's I believe, that's just my opinion, guys. I believe that was one of the reasons that made her even more mysterious, even more as a challenge. Actually, I'm so happy that they got married. Not only because they got married in Italy, but because this is a perfect example that you guys can see there is no fucking excuse, all right, for you not to be better. So I don't want to hear no lady saying, complaining, say I'm expired. First of all these things, like, thank God again, we're breaking free from this mentality. They were lies told by lies created by men to control women, and now thankfully women are growing aware, more and more aware of this. All these kind of remarks and saying like, you know what, women they lose value, blah blah blah, that's actually so evil if you think about it. At least I think about it. I'm like, they say this because a woman in a marriage, it's like, at least back in the day, they were basically there to gather man. There's a man over there, like, by the way, sitting over there. No, say before, women were basically getting married because they couldn't work, right? So they were born to attend the man, to cook and clean. They had no right to say or do things or have an independent thinking, or to just, like, you know, we're still programmed with these limiting beliefs as women. Like, we feel like we can't do this and we cannot do that and we expired, and the reason is because they want us controlled. They want us not to know her worth, because imagine if a woman knows her worth, what will happen? You know, she will leave that man. She will start to live free. She'll start to live like she's limitless, like she's a leader. And that's a threat for weak men in their false masculinity. Alright ladies, I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. I want to know your opinion. By the way, one-on-one coaching is available at this time, so contact me. I made a new website on Shopify, so I have my merch there. For those ladies that follow me on Instagram, I've created like the collection with Princess Man mugs. I got canvas. It's like a shady art collection. and some of the, you know, my merch that you can check it out. I have my coaching there. But you know, if you have any question, you can email me, vivi@amotherBarbie.com. Everything will be in the description box down below. And if you guys are interested, I have restocked my Pheromone fragrance for you ladies, so I hope you like it. So for those who haven't that are new, my Pheromone fragrance is to attract an abundant life, wealthy man like Jeff, maybe, perhaps. Who knows that Lauren used something like that. You know, she's Latina at the end of the day, so they like to, but just speculation. Anyways, you guys, I hope you loved the video, and until next time, stay safe. Love you, girls.